All right, Effect Radio. This is DJ Kid here with Manafest. How you doing?
I'm feeling great, brother. Good to be talking to you, man.
Good to be talking to you too, buddy. So, hey, let's start this off with the basic question everybody asks, I'm sure. Manifest. Like, how did you come up with the name? Why is the name there? And what's important about it? And does it mean something more now to you than it did when you first enacted it?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot more now that I've been in doing music as long as I have. I think full time, about 15 years. Well, geez, longer than that. I had the name Manifest probably in 2000. So for 24 years, I
Right.
guess I've been Manifest. I was in a group before that, but my nickname when I was in the group was Speedy, and so we just didn't think that would fly. No offense to any of the artists named Speedy out there,
Well, there's
but
not
I
really
just
a whole
wanted.
lot of them out there.
No, no. And so
Okay.
just wanted a name that meant something to me. And when you're first starting out, you don't know what's going to happen, or like some people are a little bit more prayerful and deep about it, but to me it was just like that sounded cool. But then when I dove into it and saw the word manifest in the Bible about the manifest light and the glory of God, and God just showing up and something being exposed by the light,
Yeah.
that brought a lot more meaning to it. And I've been always a pretty serious dude about my faith and wanting to put a message of hope and tell people about Jesus. And so just I felt like my music was a place, or allowed me to shine light in dark places. And that's what we've kind of done the last, couple decades.
Okay. Okay. Well, in my research on you, so that you were a pro skater before you were a musician, but before that, like, how did you come to know God, and how did that influence the avenue that you decided to go in life?
Yeah, I wasn't actually pro. I was sponsored, but I never got to the pro level. Wanted to, got sponsors and free stuff and whatever. And some of the companies actually ended up sponsoring my music tours, which was really cool.
Nice.
So God always works out cool stuff. But I hurt myself skateboarding, and then that's how I kind of got into music, because it's like one dream got buried
Yeah.
and then another dream came alive. And so it's really interesting. I like to think God has a sense of humor, because music wasn't even on my radar, but I believe God always had a plan. I was at a Bible camp. My mom bribed me to go. I was like the only skater there, but I heard there were going to be girls there, so I went.
Typical, right?
Right, and I did end up meeting my wife there. I've been married to for 21 years,
Nice.
even through this crazy music industry,
Right.
because we've seen a lot of stuff. And but we're still happily married. But most important thing, I still got my faith. I still go to church. Still in my Bible, listening to stuff, and that's always been the foundation. And I like to think that's why I'm still here. Because it was more than just music or money, or it was about the message.
Right. So, how did you come to know God, though, in that aspect?
Well, Bible camp, really. My mom bribed me and forced me to go, and so hearing the word of faith, and hearing about Jesus, and I was a really angry kid, and
Uh
still got
huh.
my anger issues that I'm working through every now and then.
But we're all
But
human, right?
I lost my dad to suicide when I was 5 years old,
Okay.
and gone through crazy stuff as a kid. But I really remember being at that camp, like God loved me and forgave me, and it's like you kind of almost feel like the spotlight is on you, and Holy Spirit spoke to me, and having this personal encounter as opposed to this dragged to Sunday morning church encounter. I really believe at that camp there's a lot of worship time and obviously word, and you're pulled out of your regular atmosphere
Right.
and you're immersed in just the word every day. Like this, what was cool about this camp was like, sure, there was some sports, and I hated sports, but there's a lot of attention on church, and hearing the message and worship each day. And I really believe that's what really broke through to me, and
Yeah.
really melted my heart. Like, dude, like when I came to that camp, they took my magazines. Like I didn't have porno magazines, but I had like a skate mag that had nudity in it, and
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. And had a bunch of different stuff. Like I wore a really gnarly shirt to the first Bible study. Like I was,
Man, this kid needs
I was,
saved.
I was like that bad. Yeah, when I think about like how raw I was, like yeah, and I didn't care. I wanted to be the punk kid.
Yeah. Wow,
Look at
that's
that.
amazing.
Jesus does miracles, man.
Absolutely. So, do you, in turn, because of what happened to you at a camp, do you like to do camps? Do you like to go and perform at youth camps and stuff like that?
Well, I became a counselor there, which was rad.
Okay.
And so I kind of got to give back and, mentor a bunch of actual other skate punks
Right.
that did worse stuff than me, if you can believe that. Um, and so that was really rad. I ended up performing there as an artist, which was cool. And then yeah, we ended up doing lots of camps. I haven't performed a show in over 4 or 5 years now. We took a
Right.
year off before COVID,
And then
and then
COVID just killed everything.
it just really threw everything, especially in Canada. Like I couldn't get back into the country without being quarantined.
Wow.
So it was really messed up, you know?
So, are you in
So
Canada
yeah,
now? Or are you in LA?
I am. I'm trapped in Canada still.
Lovely. Just can't get out anymore.
Well, I don't have my green card anymore. We could get it back anytime we want, and
Right.
perfectly one day we will. We'll see.
And you were jokingly commenting that you'd like to have Canada be the 51st state
I'm all
previously.
about it, dude. I'm all about it.
And
America,
that would free you up to be able to come back and forth. Who cares, right?
let's make America great again and Canada great again at the same time.
You know, a little side spin on the whole Gulf of America thing. Like we got to remember, like we are all like it's all America. It's like the Americas. So
Yeah,
to try to
it's all
divide it all up,
attached,
and be like,
man.
oh, it's the United States. They're just being jerks. Dude, we're all in America. Anyway,
Dude, you guys are like a couple hours from the border. It's just like it's so close, man, and
yeah,
it's
yet so
like
far away.
yeah, it's amazing how different the countries are, like how close we are. Like literally when you cross the border, you know you're in America. And I've been to 22 plus countries, and honestly, there's nothing, no other country like America, man. As much as people want to say things like it's the most amazing country in the world, and I'm very thankful for you guys.
Oh wow, wow. Musically, you've kind of been everywhere in the rap genre that you can be. Urban rap and rock rap and everywhere in between. What's your favorite format and why?
Yeah, I like both of them for different reasons. You know, it's hard to pick because I really bounce back between. I've been doing so much for TV and film lately that it has been leaning more hip hop, alternative.
Mhm.
I'm getting to sing a lot more, which is really cool. Still rapping a bit as well too. But I really enjoy. There's nothing like hearing a great song mixed back. Like, still just gives me the tingles. I still get excited. I still love trying to figure it out like a puzzle to make the best song. But I honestly, it's like 50-50 to me. I just love both of them. I'd like to do, more, another rock heavier record again. I will probably next year, maybe later this year. It just depends. But
Yeah.
I just love them both equally, man. It's just so fun. And they use different parts of my creative brain, which is cool.
Right, right. So as an artist myself, I go back and I listen to stuff I've done before, and I expect that I would like remember every little part of that recording as I went through, but I actually listened to it, to them, and I go, oh man, like that's actually really good, and I forget that it was like me that was doing that. Do you ever have that issue?
Yeah, I'm writing so many songs because like I used to tour like 150 shows a year. Like it was crazy
Yeah.
how many shows we used to do. And then we would take time off to do songs. And so it's like when you'd go into the studio, it was like more of the special moment, and it's still special now, but right now, dude, like we released or recorded, finished like 27 plus songs last year. I'll
Wow.
probably do 40 to 50 this year.
Wow.
And sometimes like last Monday we wrote a song, recorded it, it's done, ready for TV film stuff. And like you now it's like a bit of a blur sometimes,
You forget you did
you
it.
know. Yeah, like it's just so fast. Like we're just cranking out so many. And so obviously certain songs mean more and hit you differently, but like, and yeah, you do go back. It's like, oh, I forgot about that one, or just forgot that we did that. Like, because it's just like you're just cranking out so many now, and what a blessing, man.
Right. So do you have a favorite?
Song,
Yeah.
um, man, I really like "Glitch in the Matrix."
Uh-huh.
That's a new one. I just love the title. I love the hook, love the production. One of my all-time favorites is also "Save You." I really like that song. And that
Awesome.
came as a surprise. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so you have a family, right?
Mm-hmm. I have a daughter and a wife.
Do they tour with you at all? When you do, when you have?
Um, my daughter's been to like one or two shows, but she hasn't been to a show recently because I haven't done one.
Yeah.
But my wife used to tour with me all the time. She's been around the world to me. She's been with me to Japan and UK and all across US, Canada, like
Nothing
everywhere
like
I've
having
been.
a wife by your side and just knowing you have the security of your special person there with you, right?
Better than a bunch of stinky
I'm
dudes.
telling you what.
Like, look at this beautiful moment I get to share with a bunch of men.
Yeah. And we all need a shower. So,
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
ties me into the next one. You're a solo artist, but you do play with a band. You have a band that you work with, right?
Yeah, just hired gun guys,
Yeah.
you know.
Any cool
Honestly,
stories
like
related to those guys, as you're moving through stuff?
honestly, dude, it's been so long. Like, there's been times where we hit deer. I'll never forget that. That was pretty crazy.
You got
Just
sausage on
like,
the side of the road, right?
yeah, just goes flying. It didn't die, thank God.
Oh, wow.
One time we were driving all the way to Minnesota. I forget that club they used to have that cool, and it had like a hairdresser place in it and stuff.
Wish I could
It's
tell
in
you.
Minnesota. It was freezing. Club 3 Degrees, I think it was called.
That would make sense.
Um, yeah, yeah. And I remember us we smacked a wolf. And I remember I was fast asleep and my buddy was driving and he was like, "Man, it wanted to die, dude. It wanted to die." He's like, "I was in this one lane and I moved over, and he says it just like ran right into it."
I was
Um,
driving to LA one time. I live in Idaho, and we're driving through Nevada in the middle of the night. Probably had to have been 2 or 3 in the morning. And when you're driving that particular part of the interstate, it's nothing but rabbits and
yeah,
nothing you can do to move past them. Like you just got to go
yeah.
straight, and it's every little thing plop plop plop, right? And then and I'm in this little van thing, and all of a sudden, like the biggest rabbit I've ever seen, it could have been a coyote, but
Oh my
it
God.
had big old floppy ears, so I know it was a rabbit, but it was huge. And I hit that thing, and it splattered the entire undercarriage of that car
Oh
in a
my
way that I've
gosh.
never seen before. Oh man! All right, so let's move along. Um, a recent thing that I've seen from you in social media, and I would love to pick your brain on the outside of all this, being an artist myself. Um, I had a conversation with KJ52 some years back about Spotify and how they pay like 100th of a cent per play, streaming wise, and he was frustrated because um, trying to make money in the streaming world as an artist that isn't signed is near impossible. But you've got a book out, an online book,
Right.
trying to help fledgling artists like myself and others to be able to be successful in the market. Is there any way that you can share some of that information with us right now? Like what
Yeah,
what
yeah.
what about it is important, and how can you help us, and then where can we get it too?
For sure. Yeah, this is the book. It's on Amazon. You can get the physical or digital or audio version. It's called Spotify Profits 2.0.
Awesome.
And I know everyone focuses on, you know, the per streaming rate, but that's because you didn't grow up in the model of what it used to be, and where you had to sell albums.
Right.
And sure, I've had success in Japan selling 10,000 albums a week, and in the US over 500 a week. And KJ has sold a lot of albums in that system,
Hmm.
but you're also beholden to distribution, labels, and I've been on both sides of the track where you're just not selling albums.
Right.
And there's so much that you just cannot control. You can't control getting it in the stores, the placement, getting people to walk in,
Right.
getting enough copies ordered. Like it was a disaster compared to what it is now.
And people
Um,
forget that as artists, we have to be businessmen too. So we have to be mindful of even those little tiny things in a store as they go. And how can you get
yeah.
your product out over the other?
Yeah, like I would never want to go back to the old model. Spotify has allowed me to have a full-time career. And, I signed what was called a licensing deal with the label, Tooth and Nail. And so I eventually got my albums back. And that's what allowed me to do music. And, we always just tried to make the best music possible. And some songs just kept streaming and kept
Right.
streaming. And Spotify allowed me to have a full-time income and even be able to do what I'm doing right now, having the time to talk to you and not tour. And so I always say to artists, it's just, you just got to get more streams, you got to get more awareness. And that's just like anything that could be on YouTube or wherever. You just need to get known more. And, and it's not always about the best song that wins, it's the best marketed song.
Right.
I get frustrated back in the day, and this is the days of touring where, some of these bands, their music was okay,
Right.
but their show was
Was
incredible.
incredible.
So they'd sell so many CDs, but like this music was okay, but their personality and their charisma. And this is the same thing with social media, man. Like, it's that
Yeah.
charisma or your story, learning to tell your story, because like nobody wants to hear my new song dropped. But
Right.
I wrote this song because I was struggling with suicide. I was in this dark place.
Yeah.
I remember I was in my car. It
They
was
want they
raining.
want relatability at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to know the story behind
Yeah.
stuff. But like, I'm very, very thankful.
And so for those listeners and stuff like that out there that see this social promotion, it's not just a money maker for Manifest. It's actually like, hey, I want to try to help people succeed the same way that I did. That's what the purpose of that book is, right?
Yeah. It just shows all the strategy and everything that I did to do it right. Because one of the biggest mistakes a lot of artists do is they don't release singles, they release the whole album still.
Right.
And second thing is they don't tell anybody about it. They just put it up there and they think it's just going to get found. And you know, what's really cool about social media and just the online world is not even like, I've had more success of people using my songs and them getting millions of streams and people finding my music
Right.
versus even the videos that I post don't get as much. But people have to know the music even exists
Right.
for it to get used,
So that it has,
so it's,
hey, this hook fits with this particular film I'm doing.
yeah.
Fan
Yeah.
Base University, you have that going too.
Yeah, it's a coaching program that we have, where people have to apply to work with us, and I do some one-on-one coaching
Yeah.
every week. We actually have our call tonight with some of our students, and
Awesome.
again, I'm very, very thankful. Like, I'll tell you, one of my biggest mentors, who really poured into me, was Trevor McNeven from 1,000 Foot Krutch.
Right. Yeah. I've had the pleasure of
And
talking with him.
he's a real dude, and he really poured in. He's just one of many, many people who have poured into me. And I've hired so many different coaches, and so thankful for the mistakes that I avoided. And so, it's been cool to be able to coach other artists, especially other Christian artists as well too, that have the same heart. We work
Right
with
on.
everybody, but it's cool when they're also believers as well.
Right. Well, hey, if you we're giving you a chance right now to say anything you would like to say to our listeners, what would you like to say?
Man, you're putting me on the spot here. you know I really believe everybody's called. I know we hear the scripture all the time, Jeremiah 29:11. God's got a plan
Yeah.
to prosper you, to give you a hope and a future. And I believe that for me, and I believe it for you. But the question is, do you believe it for yourself? And also that 2 Timothy 1:7 says that I wasn't born with a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And to not get caught up in, the politics, the crazy stuff in the world, get caught up with God in his presence. It doesn't matter who's in the office. It matters who's inside of your heart, and that's Jesus, and he'll lead you. And just focus on your dreams and helping other people and what God's called you to do. And everything else will line up, I believe.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, what can we expect from Manifest in the future, near and far?
Well, I did 2 albums last, oh no, I guess it was an album last year, and I'm doing another. I got a new album dropping this Friday, Silent Beast.
Okay.
I'll probably release another album, just lots more music, more stuff in TV shows, and just more songs. I don't know about touring, but we'll see, man.
And you are our artist of the month for February, and so
Let's go. Let's go.
we appreciate you donating your albums to our crew
Oh,
in
yeah,
that
that's right.
aspect, and we also we will pump you up like nobody else.
Dude, thank you, man.
That's what we like to do. So hey, man, thank you so much. Thank you for being our artist of the month for February. We appreciate you and the music you produced. That helps us reach people as well. That probably wouldn't be able to be reached for God in the same way because your music is different than others, right? And we also want to say thank you for the sacrifices you've had and your hard work for in warring for the kingdom. And we stand with you as you continue to do that, buddy.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys for being around too, man. We're like OGs here, so it's
Uh
awesome.
huh. All right, Effective Radio, we're going to go ahead and take off for right now, and he and I will discuss some things here in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you.